What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. We are back with a familiar series. It's the Diamond Joe Quimby series. It's the Big Q. If you guys were listeners last year, you know that we didn't want to go in on the let's break down Kevin Labank's season. He had this many goals like every other outlet is going to do inevitably and give them grades and all sorts of jazz. What we decided to do is come up with a big question surrounding key players. So if you're wondering why we're not asking a big question about Matt Nieto, it's because we don't care. And we're going to look more at the impact players and players that have maybe some uncertainties going forward. Matt Nieto, unfortunately, it's too bad he's our whipping boy. He's just right there. So poor Matt Nieto. But we're going to look at some of the big guys. Timo, Hurdle.
Not really Hurdle.
Couture.
Is there any questions about Hurdle?
Yeah, of course there is.
He got
Can
paid.
he live up to the contract? It's still a question. The goalies, a bunch of the defensemen.
The team, the Hurdle question is, how long does it take to count his money each night?
It's like that big black guy rolling on the money meme. No, there's some questions surrounding Hurdle. He has knees made of pipe cleaners. There's a lot of questions going in there. He did secure the bag. But we're not talking about Tomas Hurdle today. Today we are talking about the one, the only, the Francais, Marc-Édouard Vlasic.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, Kyle Demetrius. Back with me, as always, is co-host JD. The Jub to my Snowball 2. What's the episode with the gag where it's like Snowball 1, Snowball 2, blah, blah. I think it's like Coltrane. It's like that white cat, and then they just go back to Snowball 2. Is that like a Halloween episode? What episode is that?
I don't remember that one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know which one it is. Yeah,
it's a deep cut.
I know. Yeah, I don't know the episode, but yeah, I know the joke.
The most recent episode I watched was The Lemon of Troy, and great episode. Rates really highly on a lot of people's lists. It's probably outside my top 10, maybe around the 20 mark for me personally. But it's got one of my absolute all-time favorite Homer lines. Bart tells them that he's going to go tutor some kids in wherever, Shelbyville. And Marge is like, I don't know. And Homer's like, don't worry, Marge, our son is a tutor now. Teuton, son, Teuton. And he's holding a beer. And then right after that, like a couple scenes later, Lisa says that Bart's not tutoring anybody. He's going to cause trouble. And Marge goes, oh no, my boys joined a violence gang. It's an all-time Homer. It's not really about Homer, but Homer just comes in throwing the heat, like 101 mile an hour upper zone. He's basting the turkeys when they're trying to leave.
Sorry.
he throws the steaks, and he's like, "Run faster, boy! They've got the taste for meat now." Homer's wilding out in that episode. It's a good one. I really like it. But anyway, this episode is taking place while JD is currently putting Lego pieces up his children's noses, or removing them, I should say,
or both,
both. Yeah.
Yes.
How's Legoland?
Says it's great.
This will be what? It'll be Monday. You've just gotten there. You've settled in for a day. This is day 2. This is when you really got to go full steam ahead.
Yeah. So it'll be great. Yeah. Anyway.
Nice. Marc-Édouard Vlasic. The big question. Real. When are they getting the fireworks factory energy on this episode today?
It is.
The big question surrounding Marc-Édouard Vlasic, and it shouldn't come as a surprise, is, do the Sharks buy out Monsieur Vlasic's contract? I want your gut reaction. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Do you think they do?
I think yes. Here's why. So the Sharks have not a lot of money going into this off season. Right.
It's Kristen Wiig from Bridesmaids. Help me, I'm poor.
Yes, that's the Sharks right now. So depending on right now they're probably looking at about $10 million of cap space going into the off season. They still have to re-sign Barabanov. They have to figure out what to do with the goalie situation. So we assume that'll break even if they trade Hill or Kakin or whatever. Like that's going to basically break even. You still have to re-sign Mario Ferraro. You're going to have to figure out what to do with Timo Meier and his ability to secure the bag in the future. So you're going to need some of that sweet, sweet cap release. And Marc-Édouard Vlasic is the kind of the one guy who's making the most amount of money for the least amount of production, right? So I think the big problem with Marc-Édouard Vlasic is if he was a third pair defenseman and was paid like a third pair defenseman, he'd be fine. The problem is he's paid $7 million this year, which is Kyle. Ooh. Where do you think that ranks among NHL defensemen in the 21-22 season? His contract hit. Where does that rank among NHL defensemen?
12th.
A little lower.
Ooh, 15th.
Okay, a little bit lower.
18th.
A little bit.
20th.
20th.
He's the 20th highest paid defenseman?
He is the 20th highest paid defenseman. The Sharks have 3 on that list. Erik Karlsson, of course, at number 1. Brent Burns is at number 12 at his $8 million. And then one, Marc-Édouard Vlasic.
Could you quickly rip off the guys between Burns and Vlasic?
Sure. Brent Burns at 12. Thomas Chabot, Victor Hedman, 14. Shea Weber, RIP at 15. Quinn Hughes, Jared Spurgeon, Aaron Ekblad, Chris Letang, and then
now who are like the 5-ish guys right behind Vlasic?
Brett Seabrook, RIP, Ivan Provorov, Mark Giordano, Ryan McDowell, and Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, 26, Cam Fowler.
These guys are now making what, like 5?
6 years, 6 million, yeah, 6.5. So, yep.
So he's easily the least effective of all those guys.
Yeah, of all those guys.
Well, besides Seabrook, who's on LTIR, and Weber, who's on LTIR. They're effective in different ways.
Yes. All right, before we get back into our Vlasic talk, and if we think the Sharks will eventually buy out Vlasic or if they should keep him, we want to take a quick break and talk to you guys about our friends over at BetOnline. You guys know BetOnline is number one source for all your sports betting info and stats. Find all the latest sports development, league reviews, and news, including basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball, NHL playoffs. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So that is the big issue with him. So if you're on YouTube, I'm going to pull up his kind of fancy stats from Evolve Hockey here. It's really sad to see. Well, so we know Marc-Édouard Vlasic never has been known for his offense. He's been a defensive defenseman, and he was the NHL's premier defensive defenseman for a very, very long time. But now, if the offense is not there and the defense is slipping, the defense this year was in the 50th percentile, which is fine. That's above average, et cetera, et cetera. You can live with that. But the offense is a sad black hole right here. And he still provides some value on defense, but again, it's not worth $7 million that you're paying him to be the 20th best defenseman in the league. Let's look at the actual, if they were to buy him out, okay? I'll break that down. So if they buy him out this June 15th is the buyout, the start of the buyout date. I forget how long it goes for, but anyway, June 15th is the first buyout date. This year, the Sharks, he would have a hit of 3.97, save the Sharks 3.68. Next year, his cap hit would be 1.4, saves the Sharks 5.5 next year. So that's a big, nice number. 24-25, a cap hit of 4.1 with a savings of 2.8. 25-26 season, a cap hit of 5.1 with a savings of $1.8 million. And then after that, the 26-27 season through the 29-30 season would be a $1.687 million cap hit for that time. So yeah, that's a lot of numbers that you're really fast. But basically, they would save themselves some money here until the 25-26 season, where they would have a $5 million cap hit. The nice thing about that is the future Sharks can kind of budget around that, because the 25-26 season, they have 3 players under contract. Couture, Hurdle.
Yeah. Couture, Hurdle, Erik Karlsson.
Erik Karlsson.
Because Burns comes off the year before.
Yeah, he comes off that year, the 25-26 season.
But Meyer will probably be locked up if they keep him.
Yeah, you would assume then like Bordelot, Eklund, Ferraro.
Yeah, but they'll all be on those weird bridgy rookie contracts.
And you can like, yeah, their contracts they'll be done with their EL season onto big boy contracts by then. But you can at least budget around like, okay, this 25-26 season is going to suck because we're going to have the Vlasic buyout. But he's still they're charging him you're getting charged $5 million, but it's still $2 million in savings. You're still saving $2 million, so you can buy yourself a nice Noah Gregor.
How old will Noah Gregor be then? Like 32?
Yeah. Still working on his RFA deal. Doug Wilson Jr. is back from his grave, still hanging out.
They need those deals. They need to. Obviously, the thing here is that you need to weigh, is Vlasic at $7 million for 3 more years?
Yeah. So if they keep him, yeah, they have. He is still on the books through the 25-26 season, so he'd be one of the 4 if you keep him. So, yeah.
22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. So it's 4 more seasons?
Yes.
This is his contract.
This is the Jonathan Quick tweet in real life.
Contract never ends. It just always seems like there's 4 more years. They just always magically recurring.
Yep.
I guess what you got to weigh now is, does Vlasic's $7 million hit and play outweigh 3 more? Well, it'd be 8 years now, so it'd be 4 more extra years of a 1 point whatever cap hit. A factor going into this would be that the salary cap is going up eventually. We know that it went up $1 million. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
So it'll go up a little bit more as they go on. But is it prudent to buy him out now and have so many years, or would it be better to buy him out next summer? Because the organization saying, so 2-prong attack here. Realistically, the Sharks aren't going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be very good. Therefore, you should keep him on the team.
Yep.
$7 million is a lot. And it's a lot of years. It's 8 years. So you should keep him on the team and try to whittle some of that down. But if their stated goal, which is the organization's goal, and the new GM's goal apparently is going to be force-fed to him, that they have to make the playoffs and be a contender, then you think a buyout is a real option. Because you can only get better without him on the team. Unfortunately, as much as it say, you showed the graphic earlier, he's not good. And no matter what kind of coach speak and GM speak says that he got better as the season went on and he still wants to compete. I mean, I'm sure Wayne Gretzky would still love to compete, but Father Time waits for no man, and he is undefeated. So eventually guys become less effective, and you hope that it coincides with 1 year, 2 years, maybe no years. Not this is like 6 years of ineffectual Marc-Édouard Vlasic now.
It was like the year after he signed that contract extension. It was like when it went down the hole. So
yeah. So you win some and you lose some, and they're clearly losing. But the problem is that he's a franchise legend, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think he's pretty easily probably the best defenseman in Sharks history. I guess maybe Brent Burns, but Brent Burns did a different thing.
Defensive defenseman.
Yeah, Vlasic is on your first pair Hall of Fame Sharks lineup, and then he's either beside Brent Burns or Dan Boyle, depending on how you really feel about either guy. So it's tough to just get rid of a guy like that, but at the same time, if you're trying to win the cup, you kind of got to turf him, and you just eat it. Martin Jones' buyout is still on the cap too, which kind of makes things a little complicated. The Sharks don't really buy out a ton of guys. But that was under the Doug Wilson regime. And Joe Will said that historically we don't. See, another thing about this GM search is that they keep referring to like historical Shark stuff. Well, if the new GM coming in is going to have to do everything that the old Sharks did, then that's not really a new GM. You might as well just leave Joe Will in charge. If that's what you really want. So,
all right, before we finish up and kind of make our ultimate guesses on if Vlasic is with the San Jose Sharks start of the 2022-2023 season, we are got to take a break and talk to you guys about Built Bar. Built Bar, of course, the best tasting protein bar on the market. With summer coming, you're going to need something to go when you're always on the go. That's where Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. You throw them in your bags, in your kids' backpacks. Make sure everyone has a bar so you're fueled for your summer vacations. Best part about Built Bar is they're healthy and delicious, so no more sacrificing delicious food for health. With Built Bar, you can have both, and it's easy. All you have to do is go to Built.com and order now. And if you don't know what type of Built Bar to get, they have an awesome mix box that comes with 12 different flavors and puffs. And what's a puff? Puffs are a 100% chocolate-covered marshmallow. They come in amazing flavors, including banana cream pie and churro. So go to Built.com, check out all the amazing flavors, and visit when you check out, use the promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. Again, use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com.
It's a tough question. It's a lot of money to be playing around with, but at the same time, he's not effective. What would you realistically, how low would the cap hit have to go for you to keep him on the team?
I mean, if he was, the problem is like you can find, a Magna or Malash or these guys who are, they're playing over him at this point for for ELC contracts right now. So, if his contract was like 2.5, 3, then I think you could okay, he's been, he's been with the Sharks forever. We're not paying him that much in the grand scheme of things, but like $7 million is such a huge hit. I think that, it's when the Sharks signed him, they didn't expect the cap to not grow at all, shrink. And then that kind of hurt, especially with him and then the Carlson and then the Burns. But, you got to do something too. I mean, we've talked about how the Sharks are going to have a logjam here on the left side here really soon between some of the guys. I don't think they're ready to play next year, but like your Hadakas, your when Knizia gets back, Knyzhov, et cetera, like these guys are going to need playing time, and Vlasic's basically just going to be holding them back. He's at some point. So again, I don't think those guys are ready to step in next year, but finding a left-handed defensive defenseman is not hard to do. You can go pick them up off the streets and have them play third pairing minutes. It's not hard to find these guys. So, yeah.
Do you think it's a viable option for them to scratch a $7 million player repeatedly?
They did it this year once.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
They did it once. That's not a thing. But I mean, like having him platoon with, argument's sake, Hadaka. Yeah. I'm not saying Hadaka is going to be the guy. I'm just saying somebody like that. Marc-Eduard Vlasic plays 35 games, 41
or Šimek.
games,
you have Šimek
who's but I don't want that either.
But I'm just saying you have options. Yeah.
But do you think it's a viable option to play him 41 games, 50 games, 35 games?
I think it's an assets management thing, right? Where, I mean, you and I are going to be, I feel, especially what's probably going to be another lost season of let whoever your children play at some point. And, if you want to start your season with, okay, Marc-Eduard Vlasic's our left-sided 3D, third defensive pairing, and that until the season's lost, and then you're like, okay, please enjoy some hot dogs in the press box. We're going to play, Hadaka or Knyzhov or whoever. That's a way to go. But then, I don't know is it better just have a clean break or just to slowly pull the Band-Aid off? Because I feel like that way you're just kicking the can down the road and slowly pulling the Band-Aid off. But then you do get that extra year to buy for the buyout type of thing, and then you can discuss the buyout next year. And the buyout next year, I mean, so if they did the June 2023 buyout. The cap hit, it's relatively similar. You would save $5.5 million the first year. You would save $2.8 million the next year. Then you would save 1.8 the following year in that 25-26 season. Then you have 1.7 basically for the next 3 years after that. They still have 6 years of him on the books, but it's still manageable. So again, your goal is to try to make the playoffs. Does Marc-Édouard Vlasic help you make the playoffs this year?
No, that's the problem.
Yeah,
no, he doesn't.
Because you can use that money to go get. They said they needed more impact forwards. You can go, use that money to go try to get an impact forward this offseason, and let the young children play defense back there with Brett Burns. Poor Brett Burns. But yeah, I mean, I just, as the number one Vlasic fan, like, how do you feel about it?
I don't know, man. Like, eventually guys take a downturn. I just don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's tough to be like, wow, they should keep this guy in the team. He's one of my favorite guys, and he was so good for so long when he's clearly hindering you.
So here's even like his minutes played this year. So the last couple of years, so the 2018-19 season, when they the year after
they cheated up a storm.
Yeah. So that he played 21 minutes and 3 seconds average time on ice. And then the 1920 season, he played 20 minutes and 18 seconds. And then the 2020 to 21 season, his age 33 season, he played 17 and a half minutes. And then this year, his age 34 season, he played 15 and a half minutes of ice.
How much lower can you go for a $7 million cap hit? Do you go to 12? You're paying a guy $7 million
to skate around for 12 minutes, and that way Brent Burns can take a breath, or Mario Ferraro can, Mario Ferraro is looking at Vlasic and seeing himself in the future here. This is you.
This is your life.
Yeah.
I just don't know how low the minutes can go for a guy that's not effective, and for all the talk that he wants to compete and he's excited and wants to train. Like, that's great. I'm sure lots of players do, but like, you
can train all you want, but it's just, you lose a step.
You've lost your fastball.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to retire eventually. It just really sucks because he was such a big part of so many Sharks teams, and basically, if
he doesn't get a concussion, I think they win that. They never get reverse swept, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of sliding door moments, but probably 90% of our listeners are Vlasic is a core piece of our childhood Sharks teams. Like, he came in what year did he come in? It's something heinous. Well, he won the Calder in 2006.
6 and 7. He played 3 games. Yeah, and then
5-6. He played 3 games. 6-7. He played a full complement. So like, that's 16 years of Marc-Édouard Vlasic. It's tough to just be like, well, he needs to go, but at the same time, he needs to go. Fun little sidebar on the 2006-2007 Calder voting. He finished 6th. Evgeny Malkin won. Then it followed up by Paul Stastny, Jordan Staal, Andrei Kopitar, and Dustin Penner. But the Sharks also had Matt Carle, who finished 7th, and Ryan Clough, who finished 13th in Calder voting. Of the people on this Calder list, it's a good little snapshot. Evgeny Malkin's still sick, but he's also like super Hall of Fame man. Yeah. Paul Stastny is ineffectual now. Jordan Staal, getting up there in age, but still good. Andrei Kopitar somehow still good. Dustin Penner run out of the league. Matt Carle out of the league. Wojtek Wolski out of the league.
Is Matt Carle? I think Matt Carle still played.
There's many Matt Carles. This Matt Carle retired in 2017.
Okay, never
mind. He's out. Wojtek Wolski out of the league. Alexander Radulov close to being out of the league. Travis Zajac is an old man that's not really effective anymore. Phil Kessel, father time hit him. Mike Smith, bad. Gilbert Brulé out of the league. Ryan Clough out of the league. Dan Girardi out of the league. Josh Harding out of the league. Drew Stafford out of the league. Like, there's not a lot of guys on this list that are still killing it, and that was the rookie class for that year. Obviously, their ages are varied. Like, Marc-Édouard Vlasic was 19, so he was the youngest guy on this. Well, Jordan Staal was 18, but there's not a ton of guys left in the league, and like, it's a hard decision. I just don't know if you buy him out now and take the 8 years, or you wait one more year. But really, if you're trying to win the cup, you have to buy him out. I think it comes out of that. If you're trying to win the cup, you have to buy him out. And
if you're just trying to be competitive,
yeah.
It's just it's tough, but I mean, I don't see how skating him for 15 minutes a night and paying him $7 million is just good asset management.
I don't know, man. So if it was up to you, would you buy him out or not?
Yes, I would. Because again, I think, yeah.
2, I asked you at the top, but after we've done this, what do you think the chances are that the Sharks actually buy him out?
I'm going to go 60% chance they buy him out.
Okay.
You?
I would not buy him out only because I think the Sharks are going to be bad. If I was the Sharks and mandated to try to make playoffs, then I would buy him out. But me, my own human being, my own sentient being, I would not buy him out this year. Do I think the Sharks buy him out? No. I think it's 35% they buy him out. But it could rise. We really need to know who the GM is and the plan. So I think we're still in. He's going to be on the team. I think if I was a betting man, I think they would try to explore a Burns trade first.
Yeah, because you can get assets.
You can get assets for Burns, but
like legit assets
really,
for Burns.
That really shoots you in the foot for trying to be competitive.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is then you have a massive hole there.
But it's a way to free up $8 million, get assets, and try to take it in a new direction. I think that would be a smarter play.
I'm sure we will look at this question later.
Oh wow! Why'd you stroke your beard, weirdo?
Because I just shaved it. So
he's vacation fresh.
Yes.
You got to use some Primal Origins oil, bro.
You
got to order more. The promo code Primal.
They send us some more.
Yeah, Marc-Édouard, one of my faves, going down in infamy, flames. It's
a blaze of glory.
No, I wish he went out in a blaze of glory. I wish he did. I wish 2019 they won the cup or something, or they went to the finals and he was like, I'm out of here. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's a tough beat. If you'd like to weigh in on the Vlasic discourse, you can do that. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Locked on Sharks. YouTube, leave a comment. Locked on Sharks on YouTube. Listen to us, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Locked on Sharks. Email, lockedonsharks@gmail.com. JD, Mr. Legoland himself, just building up a storm. Clicking those bricks, baby. You think anybody's made a Lego dildo?
I'm 100% sure somebody has.
Ouch. Ouch.
They have the smooth pieces.
JD's at my file.
Kyle is going to be searching for Legos. Is that Kyle Demetrius? Thank you guys for making us your first San Jose Sharks listen of the day. Go check out the Locked On NHL podcast as the playoffs storm on. I can't believe the Atlanta Falcons did what they did last night.
My favorite team is the Denver Broncos. What an amazing joke.
Will be in attendance.
I can't wait for the Florida Panthers to win the series. If you're not watching on YouTube, that just makes no sense whatsoever.
I know. You should really be watching on YouTube. Just get us those clicks. So,
give us that sweet cheddar bread.
We do need that sweet cheddar bread. How do you think this Lego land vacation is being paid? My wife? God. Kyle.
What does she do? Save babies? What a loser.
Oh, God. Seriously. Kyle, what other podcast should someone listen to today?
Locked On Marlins.
Legos.
Marlins. It's a big fish.
Bye, friends.
It's got a sword nose. What a baller. A big sail.